Welcome to beautiful Puerto Rico. Contego is in Puerto Rico to do live demonstrations of our passive fire barrier latex for the College of Architecture and the Academy of Firefighters. And we're going to start out with that typical demonstration you may have seen with an empty soda can. When hit with a propane blowtorch, we blow through it in 4.5–5 seconds. Well, now we're going to do the same thing as we've done before with another empty soda can, but one treated with a couple of coats of Contego. And as before when we've done this presentation, when we hit it with the flame from the propane blowtorch, you see that the char layer builds up very, very quickly and starts glowing red and white, reflecting all of that thermal energy away from something even as thin and as vulnerable as an empty soda can. This is always a great demonstration to show people because that's amazing performance. And look at how thin and smooth and pretty the Contego coating is when it's applied to the substrate. Well, now we're going to scrape the char layer off the surface so you can see that the can wasn't damaged. Now we're going to do the same thing with that wooden stick, and you may have received one in a sample kit. We're going to flame it on the front and on the back and on both sides. We're going to really punish this stick with the same propane blowtorch that we used before. Then we're going to scrape off half of it to show what the char layer looks like, and you can see that some of the Contego is still left. So what the heck, we're going to flame it again. And we did, and as you can see, the paddle stood up very, very nicely to the flame from that propane blowtorch. Well, then we built two rooms. The one on the left is treated with Contego, the one on the right isn't. On the left, we put a hide-a-bed sofa made out of foam and Dacron and wood and soaked it in gasoline. And on the left, it's just a simple chair and a nightstand and a small bucket with some flammables in it. Look at that structure on the left go insane. It's a lot of fire. In fact, we had to back up a few feet. It was so hot. And it looks like the structure is being utterly destroyed, but actually the opposite is the case. Once the couches burn up, there's nothing left but the structure. But on the right-hand side, that little bit of fuel has caught the entire structure on fire. And as you're going to see in just a few moments, that structure is going down. Right now, the back's falling off. The structure on the left is as solid as ever. You have a lot of black char on the inside, but wait till you see what happens when we scrape that off. The back falls off, and I think we've proven our point. So the firefighters come over. They're going to hose down the remains here, and we're going to take a little closer look at that structure on the left. I think it's safe to say everybody was pretty impressed with what they saw, and the structure on the left protected with Contego. Now we're going to scrape off the char layer on the inside, and notice how the first layer of Contego is still intact. We haven't even lit that up yet. The char layer comes off. It doesn't have that pungent smell that you get when something's caught on fire. And if there had been a resurgent fire, you would see that the Contego would still have been able to offer considerably more protection. The wood is not damaged at all. So post-fire recovery is a lot simpler when you use Contego. So all of those advantages and significant cost savings, that's a tremendous value in fireproofing. Take a look at the outside of the structure. The back and sides are completely unaffected. Contego is the answer.